Mark Hall. It says, how did you get the role of Laurie Strode? How many people auditioned for the role of Laurie Strode? This is actually probably one of my favorite questions that I've been dying to answer. There was a lot of people auditioning for Laurie Strode, a lot of well-known actors, and I was really scared going into the audition process because I knew it was going to be a very long, hectic process. I remember going in the first time and meeting with the casting director, and she said that I was going to meet with the director, and I knew that was Rob Zombie, so I was really, really nervous about that. And I remember going in and finding out that Rob was not there, that he likes to cast on tape. So I went in, I read for her, and before I left, I actually told her if Rob wants me to do anything different, if he wants me to be less scared or more scared or change something up a little bit, I will do it. I didn't hear from the casting director for like 2 months, so I figured that I lost it and I didn't do as well as the other girls. And she called me back. She called me in again and said that Rob wants to see another tape, but he wants to give me little tips on how to make the character a little bit different. So I went in with the casting director again, and I taped for Rob, and we just like tweaked up a little bit. And I didn't hear from them in like 2 weeks. I get a phone call saying, Rob wants to test with you. So I go in, and I sort of dress more like Laurie Strode, more conservative, because I'm kind of really weird the way I dress. And I went in, and I remember sitting in the office, production office, and seeing Devil's Rejects posters, Sherry Moon's picture on there, and Rob's from filming, from Devil's Rejects, from Corpse of a Thousand Corpses or whatever. And I remember looking over at this wall to the left and seeing everybody's headshot on this big wall that was in Halloween, from Tyler to Sherry to Malcolm. And I remember looking at the wall and zooming in on this little redhead girl in the center, and I remember seeing my headshot right there, and I thought, okay, maybe I got this. Maybe this is just like, he's gonna tell me that I got the role. And as I was like kind of like trying to see a little bit closer look to the wall, I remember seeing Rob pass, and you can't describe Rob. Rob has wild hair, hat, a vintage shirt, this long tight pants with studs and these big old boots, and I knew that he was gonna come up to me and be like, okay, you ready to do this? And we went in this little room, the camera guy was there, and me and Rob just worked together and just did a scene together where I see Michael. I notice him at school and stuff, and we did that about maybe 9 times. We're just like working with it, and he had his little script, little mini script, and I heard that Danielle Harris was going to come in and read with me. She was doing a Dr. Phil showing. So I saw Danielle. First time Danielle met Rob, first time Danielle met me, and we went in and we read, and she's so easy to work with, and she makes you so comfortable. And she left, and I still had one scene to do, and it was sort of a really emotional scene where I see Michael for the first time, and I'm holding one of my friends' dead bodies. And I remember sitting on the floor and getting to the emotion and looking up and seeing Rob there on the floor right by the cameraman and looking at me and studying me. And I just remember feeling so comfortable with him. And I walked out of there so proud of myself with what I've done. And again, I didn't hear anything for like 2 weeks, and I heard that I had to come back and I had to do another screen test with the girls. So I went there, and everybody was starting to do wardrobe fittings, and Malcolm was there, Tyler was there, and Malcolm came up to me, oh, they finally cast Laurie, and I'm like, no, not yet, I'm not cast yet. But, being so comfortable sitting in the makeup chair and getting my hair done and getting wardrobe on and then doing the screen test really fast with Rob and Danielle. And I remember getting out of that, and the last thing I said to Rob, I said, I hope this works. And he's like, I hope this works too, because this is the last step. So I sit there for like a week wondering, I know that there's other, about 4 other girls in the running as well, and they're all great girls, and I was so proud to just finally get that far. And I was driving home from an audition, and it was about 10 o'clock at night, and I got a call from my agent saying the casting director called me. She's so excited that they're going to make an offer for you the next morning. So of course I was really excited, and I didn't want to get my hopes up because there's so much that can happen in a day. So I waited until the next morning, and they called me and they made an offer, and I was pretty excited. I was pretty proud of myself. It's such a long process to go through, but it was well worth it. Ooh, Mark Hall? That's your answer. That's your long answer. Okay, Josh in Dayton, Ohio? I think I said that right, Dayton, Ohio. That's where my boyfriend's from, Ohio. Okay, were you a fan of the Halloween films or a fan of horror films before you got the role? Anybody that would know me would know that I am a fan of horror films. That's my first. I'm a horror buff. I love Chucky, Freddy Krueger, Michael. But yeah, I was a fan of Halloween. I was a fan of Jamie Lee Curtis in the first original Halloween, and I've seen Danielle Harris's Halloweens. I've seen mostly all of them. I'm a huge fan of Michael Myers, and I'm a huge fan of any horror film for that matter. I really, really like horror films. But yeah, okay. Brian Welling. Ooh, this is a long one. Okay. Did you watch and study Jamie Lee Curtis's performance in the original Halloween to prepare you to play Laurie? Or did you just bring your own vision on how Laurie Strode should be portrayed and apply that to the character? Wow. On reading that I was going to go, finding out that I was going to go for Halloween to audition for it, I did. I went out and I rented Halloween and I watched it about 4 times before I went in. Each and every time they called me back, I went and watched Halloween. In the car, my DVD player. And I wanted to make sure that I nailed what Jamie Lee Curtis was doing. Her personality, her wholesomeness, But, when I met Rob, we definitely changed it. We did. I mean, she's still Jamie Lee Curtis, but there's just, it's 2007, she's a little bit more spicy. But yeah, I did. I focused on trying to nail what Jamie Lee Curtis did. And I still do, but we did change it up a bit. Okay, this is Simon Bergen, I think. Bergeron, I'm sorry. In Canada. What is the challenge of having to reconnect today's audience with such a legendary role? I think people just have to understand that it is 2007, and there is some change going on. It's a whole new cast, it's a whole new director, it's a whole new Michael and Laurie, and I just hope people are able to realize that there is going to be a big change. It's going to be the same thing, but just a whole new cast and crew and everybody behind it. But, wow, that's a tough question, thanks. You got me thinking there.